Out front next, breaking news. Republicans calling for GOP Congressman Tony Gonzalez to go amid allegations he had an affair with a former staffer who killed herself after setting herself on fire. Her husband is my guest. And good evening, I'm Erin Burnett. And out front tonight, the breaking news, growing calls tonight from Republicans for one of their own to go. Calls for Texas Republican Congressman Tony Gonzalez to step down. And it's coming amid allegations he had a torrid affair with a former staffer, Regina Santos-Aviles, who later died after setting herself on fire. A horrific story and outcome. Sexual and graphic text messages have also surfaced, allegedly between Gonzalez and Santos-Aviles. One message provided out front from Regina's husband reads as follows, with Gonzalez allegedly writing, "Then send me a sexy pic." Santos-Aviles responding, "I swear my life has been a telenovela for the past 7 days. You really don't want a hot picture of me." Gonzalez allegedly responds, "Yes, I do. Hurry." Well, her husband says there's so much more there, and in a moment I'm going to be speaking with him. He wants Gonzalez, who is refusing to resign and running for re-election, to be held accountable. And more Republicans tonight say they agree.
Male harassing a female employee, I just can't stomach it, dude. I got a wife and a daughter. It needs to go.
Tony Gonzalez needs to resign. The disgusting pig. The speaker should be thinking about it.
Obviously, Tony has a lot of reflection to do, and it's obviously going to be something that will likely impact our margins. But I don't make an excuse for what he did, and I would encourage him to consider resigning it.
Given what I've seen so far, he should resign.
Those are obviously three Republicans, and Republican Congressman Brandon Gill is posting, "America deserves better. Tony should drop out of the race." Republican Congressman Thomas Massie also posting, "I'm joining Nancy Mace, Lauren Boebert, and Anna Paulina Luna in calling for Representative Tony Gonzalez to resign immediately. Where are the other men in the GOP?" Well, that's a good question. Where are they? We're going to get to that in a moment, because Congressman Gonzalez is a married father of 6. And it's perhaps not just the affair, it's that who he is has defined his entire platform in his time in Congress. He has spoken openly about how important his Catholic faith is to him.
The earlier you can find and gravitate to faith in your life, the stronger you will be, because we all go through trial and tribulations.
Tonight, though, Gonzalez is defiant, telling our Manu Raju that he is not going anywhere.
Are those text messages correct? Are they accurate?
I am not going to resign. I work every day. I work every day for the people of Texas.
But are those text messages, are they accurate? Are those real text messages?
I'm not going to resign. I'm not going to resign.
Did you have an extramarital affair with a staffer?
What you've seen is not all the facts, and there'll be an ample time for all of that to come out.
Obviously, you can hear what he said and didn't say there, perhaps very significant. But tonight, there are still a number of men in the Republican Party who are still apparently waiting for more to come out, which includes the most powerful Republican in the House, the Speaker Mike Johnson, who, of course, has a razor-thin majority and can't afford to lose another Republican vote.
The allegations are alarming and detestable, and I've said to him publicly and privately, he's got to address that directly and head on with his constituents. There's a primary there in less than a week. These things will play out, so we're allowing that to happen.
Sunlen Safadi is out front on Capitol Hill to begin our coverage tonight. And Sunlen, how much momentum within the GOP is building against Congressman Gonzalez? I mean, we've heard those who have spoken out. Maybe it's not many, but they are speaking out very strongly.
That's absolutely right, Erin. Increasing pressure, it certainly is growing on Congressman Gonzalez tonight on Capitol Hill. And as you noted, you have this handful, 5 Republicans, members of his own party, of course, who have called for him to resign. But there have been a handful of others who have called for him to drop his re-election bid. And as you noted, it's the fierceness of how they spoke out about their colleague. They really didn't mince words, and you played a lot of the great sound from up here on Capitol Hill today of members reacting, calling him a pig, saying it's something they can't stomach, calling this gross. That suggests, of course, that this is not going to blow over easily for the congressman. Notable today, of course, that Speaker of the House Mike Johnson summoned him to his office. And Johnson himself, he is walking this very delicate political tightrope, as he always is, given that he has one of the closest margins in the majority in history up here on Capitol Hill. So he cannot afford to lose another vote. He knows that. The congressman knows that. Many up here are noting that as well. And so it's interesting in Speaker of the House Mike Johnson's response to this controversy, him calling it detestable, alarming, very clear how he feels personally about that. But as far as the congressman standing up here on Capitol Hill, Speaker Johnson saying we need to let this process play out, indicating that there are investigations in Texas and, of course, those up here on Capitol Hill happening. But the real test, of course, is that upcoming primary that Gonzalez has on Tuesday, March 3rd in Texas. He is notably running against someone that he did 2 years ago back in 2024, Brandon Herrera. He's a YouTube personality. And it's interesting here how close this race was, Erin. Gonzalez beat him in a runoff by only 354 votes. So all the Republicans up here on Capitol Hill really hinting here that potentially his future, of course, lies in what those results are on Tuesday and potentially letting the Texas voters decide what exactly Gonzalez's future is.
All right, Sunlen, thank you very much.
Thanks.
And out front now, Adrian Avilés. He is Regina's husband, and he's here tonight for his first television interview. And Adrian, I am grateful for your time. I mean, obviously tonight, Congressman Gonzalez is defiant. He is not resigning. He is continuing to run for re-election. What do you want the world to know about him?
I was pretty clear in some of my messages that I put out there. The guy's a predator. He's continuing to lie to the American people, his constituents of Texas, Texas 23, the district. And that's I'm at this point. I was exhausted and tired of all of the running around lying that he continued to do.
I mean, I mentioned earlier the text messages that you shared with us, and one allegedly from the congressman to Regina that you shared, says, "Send me a sexy pic." And then there's another one, Adrian, where Regina writes, "Please tell me you didn't just hire me because I was hot." To which Gonzalez, you say, replies, "No way." Do you have any doubt that these messages and the exchanges that you saw are from him?
Oh, absolutely. And that's why we went the direction that we went. We had a cellular dump on the phone, so it's forensically proven that it is him. We did all forensics analysis on everything, so there's no way that he can say that it's AI, that we're lying, that we're making anything up. We're essentially saying that, this is real. This is the person that he is. He lied to everybody about it. And, I put it out there for everybody to see, against my want to actually do it. I have an 8-year-old son that I have a duty to protect. And, by me coming out and exploiting this, I put him at risk as well, in the future, being able to see all this and putting it out there on Front Street. My son has an image of his mother, and I don't want that to be tarnished, and I don't want to be the fault of it either.
So when did you find out about their relationship?
I found out about it, I guess, I couldn't actually, I could probably tell you the date. It was June 31st. May 31st. It was the night that I found out about it. It was a Friday night.
It was a Friday night. So you remember, I mean, you and Regina, I know, had been together, 21 years. So she came home.
Yeah,
and that's when you
been on
found
and
out.
off. Yeah, we've been on and off for 21 years. When you know somebody for that long, you get to know their tendencies, and she had been acting a little off for the past couple of days. And I don't know. So I've never been a person to look through her phone. We had an open relationship. Our as far as like our devices, our devices, yeah. We had an open relationship. I could leave my phone down and she could leave her phone down, and she has the passcode. I have the passcode. There was no hiding anything, and she had been acting a little strange, and that's when I felt like I needed to go through her phone, and that's when I found out about everything that was going on.
So, look, at the heart of this is just an incredible tragedy, right? Her death, your son not having a mother, just the horror of the tragedy of her death. Do you think that the alleged affair with Congressman Gonzalez was behind her tragic death?
Look, I'm not saying he's the one that went out there and did it himself, and I'm not saying that, but yeah, he played a role in it. He predatorized my wife, and he pushed her to the sense of having an affair. I mean, I made that evident in the messages that I released.
Now, he's just told our Manu Raju, who's, of course, our Capitol Hill reporter, Gonzalez says, look, you guys haven't seen all the facts. There's going to be ample time for all of that to come out. Does this change anything for you when you go back to that Friday night in May? Does him saying that mean anything?
Actually, it makes me even angrier because, again, he's deflecting, and the man has no values. He runs his whole campaign on family values, and he runs everything, saying that he's some family man. He's actually quite of a sick man. I have all the messages that shared between them two, and the things that I just released a tip of the iceberg of the things that this man was telling her. I released just what was enough information for the people to understand who this person and who they were dealing with. If I were to release everything, again, my biggest thing is protecting my son. I will not release, the salacious messages that went back and forth much deeper than and much more graphic, rather, than what I presented to the American people.
All right. So, as you're saying, there's a lot more that you say is there.
Right.
What will you do,
absolutely.
Adrian, if he doesn't resign, if he continues here? What will you do?
I've already done my part, as far as letting people know who he is. That's up to the again, Erin, this is not a political thing for me. I want everybody to know that I don't care 2 cents about the whole political matter behind it. I don't care that, it's 2 seats in the, I don't care about all of that. I care about facts. I care about what he has done and how he's continued to lie on Regina's name. He's sitting there and he's bold-faced lied about it, about everything. And to say that the facts are going to come out, I would bet that he does not want me to release all of the messages that show how gross of a man he is.
So for you, I guess, Adrian, are you saying that this is about justice for her and for people knowing the truth of who he is? That this is about her, right? For you?
Absolutely. Yeah, of course. This is, this is not only about her, but this is also about my son and showing my son that, we stand up to cowards. This guy is a coward, and we're going to stand up to him, and we're not going to allow him to bully us like he's bullied everybody else and continue to lie about it. I'm not going to allow that. I'm not going to sit aside anymore and allow that to happen anymore. I think in his heart, he didn't believe that I would have come out because, of course, I was trying to protect the name of Regina. And of course, as well as protect my son, that he doesn't have to further see this in the future and go on YouTube and, Google her name or, my son, he truly dearly misses his mother every day. And he looks her up every day. My son is just nonstop talks about his mother, and I felt like that was my duty to him and her as the situation said.
Well, we showed some images of them together, obviously with his face blurred, but it's clear how much they loved each other, no matter what.
They had an inseparable bond. They had an inseparable bond. My son, he no longer has a mother, and the other morning we were having breakfast, and just day before yesterday, and he grabs a particular Gatorade out of the refrigerator, and it's a pink one, and he's like, we had just gotten them, and he was like, "Oh, you got pink ones?" And I was like, "Hey, don't worry about it. Dad'll drink the pink ones." And he's like, "No, I'm gonna drink these. These were Mom's favorite color Gatorades." And it tore me to pieces. I had to go to the restroom and shed a tear because most kids get to wake up in the morning and kiss their mothers good morning and get to say goodbye before they go to school. My son now has to remember his mother through a color of a Gatorade, and his memory of her, is through objects, smells, and things now, and it's not being able to actually have her in his life anymore. So it's heartbreaking to me. It's heartbreaking.
Truly can only, think to imagine.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Adrian, thank you so much.
You're welcome, Erin.
All right, Gretchen Carlson's out front with me now. Her organization, Lift Our Voices, fights for survivors against harassment and hostile work environments. So, Gretchen, Adrian coming out and being willing to talk about this. He says to protect his son, who's Googling his mother, he wants the truth out about what happened. So that's why he's doing this. How powerful is that in a moment like this, when you have people on Capitol Hill clearly making this about a one-vote majority?
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, it was a great interview. I know it's a difficult interview because I've been there before in those kinds of interviews. But I have to say, for the child of this, you want him to be able to have the courageous memory of his mother, right? And as the husband said, not bow down to an alleged coward. The thing that I really want to point out here, though, is that this is different than just having an affair.
Right.
Because this is a boss-subordinate relationship. And some of the texts that you did not show, twice Regina says, after she's asked allegedly about her favorite position, she said, "This is going too far, boss." I mean, she laid it out right there directly about the subordinate boss relationship, which is illegal to have this kind of power over somebody who's underneath you. Again, in another back and forth, this is too far, Tony. So to me, this takes it into the illegal realm as opposed to just having an affair, which apparently is now acceptable in politics. But this is not acceptable. And it really upsets me that we have the same group of people that are pushing the Epstein file release, as far as the Republicans, also pushing for him to resign here. They seem to be the only ones who can
that Venn
see this
diagram
clearly.
is a very big overlap when you look at Massey and Boebert and Mace. And there are others, Anna Paula Luna, there are a couple of others. But, is there a world where he keeps his job and gets reelected when you have a story like this? I mean, the tragedy of this, it isn't just the hypocrisy with his platform and what he runs on. And then there's also the potential illegality as you talk about it. There's also the absolutely horrific manner in which she died. I mean, she set herself on fire. It's horrific.
It's horrific. And you ask if he can be reelected in the environment we live in now? Yes. I mean, I do have some solace and hope that it is up to the voters, and in the last election, this isn't about Republican Democrat, by the way. I mean, he's facing off against another Republican.
Right,
this is a heavily Republican district.
Yep.
But he won only by 364 votes last time. So, the voters will decide. That does not take the onus off of somebody like the Speaker of the House and other Republicans to have a spine and speak up about this.
Well, and what about the onus off the President of the United States, who has endorsed Gonzalez?
Yes.
He's played a role in this race. He came out. It's not as if he can say, I'm not going to touch it. He did touch it. He came out, he endorsed Gonzalez in December. So far, silence.
Well, I don't expect to hear him taking that back. I mean, remember, President Trump was accused by 12 women of sexual misconduct before he was elected president the first time. And that had no repercussions. And he was elected again. So, the one...
Is that, in his mind, perhaps opening the door to allegations that are out there right now, for example, related to Epstein?
Potentially, or one might argue that he doesn't think that this is that serious of an issue because, he was elected twice, and the people looked at his policies that they liked as opposed to how he allegedly treated women.
Yeah.
So, this is something that I want to look at also in a positive light. The fact that we do have some people saying that he needs to resign is a step forward in this movement. And, I'm not so sure we would have gotten even this far just a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and that is fair. I mean, and at the heart of this, such a horrific tragedy. But that is so important and true. All right, Gretchen, thank you.